Welcome to the sixth episode of Reading Between the Lines with Tan. I have with me, and this is the most requested episode, the founding team of UPXLand. They don't need an introduction in Upland. They are something like a celebrity for Upland communities. So, with that, I'd like to welcome the three founders, Soren, Kris, and Hacker. Hi, guys. It's great to have you here with us.
Hello.
Hi.
Great to be here. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Good to be here, yeah.
Absolutely. So let's get right into it. And why don't we introduce ourselves? And let's go to Soren. Soren, why don't you introduce yourself, and then we can go to Kris and Hacker, and let's go that ways.
Hi, my name is Soren. I'm from Bochum in Germany. I'm with a software company, so we are creating trading software. And yeah, I'm the administration guy from UPXLand, doing all the social media stuff, and I'm not a developer. I'm the rest part of the team.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Over to you, Kris.
Hi, I'm Kris, and I founded UPXLand. I'm the main backend developer currently, and in my normal life, I'm a student and I study informatics.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kris. Over to you, Hacker.
Yeah, so my name is Hacker, from Sweden, so not from Germany like those two. That's a beer. And I am the main front-end guy for UPXLand currently.
Absolutely. And it's interesting every time I talk to founders of any startup. But let me jump right into it and ask you the tough question first. Do you ever see UPXLand as being, say, a due diligence platform for more than Upland? Or do you see it integrating with other metaverses such as Gala Games or Sandbox or Decentraland?
Yeah, I think it could work out to integrate some other platforms too, and yeah, provide some data source.
Great, absolutely. Now that we have that out of the way, let me talk to you about each one of you. So, Soren, let me begin with you. You work for a software company as in the finance department, right? And drawing up conclusions from your financial background, a much contested conversation around the yield that we get on the land that we have, right? Often from Upland team, they've drawn conclusions of Metaverse land as a bond and the yield being a coupon that you receive. So when you look at it from that angle, and this is what divides a lot of players, Upland and a lot of players say that that yield going down is good because when you look at a relationship between a bond, the coupon rate and the price of that bond have an inverse relationship, which means if the yield goes down, the price of the bond goes up. Do you see the same feature coming onto the metaverse land in Upland?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's not really sure what happens if the yield goes down or goes up. I think as we start the first time we had a lower yield than before, so they lowered it. We got much less transactions afterwards, but it could be by incident. So that's just we don't know if it's because of they lowered the yield. Could be also because of we had the crypto winter starting. So it's, I don't know, it's not sure. I think there could be a relation between, but yeah, I think it's more if you want to know if the prices go up in the game, then I think it's just a question of how many players are there, how are they willing to invest money in it, and so what can you do with this metaverse? So that's more the question than the yield, I think.
Absolutely. And a lot of players don't know about one specific part of your background, Soren. You have previously worked for Ernst& Young EY, and you have also worked for C3 Venture Capital, which is one of the funds that have invested in Upland. So when you look at Upland from that perspective, and you joined early on in 2019 when C3 got an invite from Upland. How have you seen Upland grow over time, and how do you perceive Upland going forward? And I'll also appreciate if Kris and Hacker would join in on this question, because you guys have been here from 2019 or 2020, much earlier on than the rest of the folks. So would love to draw up on the learnings that all of you have had since then.
Yeah, what happened in the game over the last years? So I think they speeded up a lot. So during the last year, so starting 2019 and until the end of 2021, it was very slow, I think. So we had not that much news, and a few cities came into the game, and so in 2022, it's it raised. So it's yeah, I think we see a lot of new features we didn't see the years before. So I think it's more stable than until 2021. So I think the performance of Upland went better. And right now, if you get a new release, so it's stable, I think. So if I think back to times when, I don't know, Brooklyn or some other city starts, so they had to restart, and so more problems, and that's gone, I think. So right now, I think it's pretty good, and that's the most important thing for players, to be sure. And so I also see that despite some conflicts, they are there every time between players and community managers and so on. So Upland right now, they ask for features. So what do we expect and so on. So I think, so they were pretty much overwhelmed over the years, but it's getting better.
Absolutely. Kris?
Yeah, definitely. And I think a good point is also that they open up an API now to community members to interact with the game, get data, and try to integrate the whole community into the project, and not only trying to develop the Upland on their own, but try to involve the members of the community. That's a big part, I guess, for most people that play Upland. And that's why I think it's kind of successful in that way.
Absolutely. Hacker, how about yourself?
Yeah, I agree with everyone. I think everything got so much faster, the development processes. I guess it's because they had a seed run in the end of 2021, and they got some more money into everything. So I think they were able to start developing much faster with more people and stuff like that. But yeah, I agree with Kris. I think everything is getting much better, and since they opened the developers API, I think a lot more people will stay and try to build stuff for the community as well, because we have a lot of entrepreneurs in the community as well that really likes to build stuff and come up with stuff. And I think that's the thing that drives a community. If you look at whatever successful game, it always like starts with a modding community, like GTA 5, CSGO, you name it, Minecraft. Everything has their own, like, you can build on top of it. And I think that's what makes a game successful in the long run. So absolutely. I think they're on the right track.
Yep, absolutely. So Kris, piggybacking off your background personally, right? You're a student in Germany and you're studying IT. When you're at that environment and you have a unique perspective that probably working people who are professionally working do not look at things that way, right? Because you're starting off in your career and you have the perspective of looking at things from a different angle. How do you see your peers who are perhaps other students who are not in Web3 or Metaverse? How do you see them looking at Upland or Metaverse as a whole per se?
I think for people that are not really interacting with any metaverse, it's kind of a game that doesn't make much sense to most people. But because you really have to get into it, get to know the community, and get to know the game, why it's interesting, to really understand it. I think that's the main point, why people are not jumping on the ship altogether. So they really have to know the community. And I think from my perspective, most people don't really develop anything in Upland. And that's the part that also keeps you in Upland. Because with UPXLand, we always need to know the new features in Upland, need to keep up to date and keep involved in the community and the game.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Also, so Hacker, as we sort of look at your personal background and everything ties up into UPXLand, you created a company called UP2Land and you sold it off, right? First of all, congratulations, because that is starting a company within Upland and selling it off to someone. That's a big feature, right? How much did you sell that for? And was it profitable?
Well, let's go back a little bit. So the website were actually called Upland World from the beginning, from the way back beginning. I think it was early 2020 or late 2020.
Right.
It was called Upland World, and then it got renamed to UPX World. And when I sold it off in April last year, we renamed it, last year, April last year, it was renamed to UP2Land. So when I sold it, it was UPX World, and when I migrated it and moved it to another server, it was UP2Land. And I don't think I want to go into the numbers, but yeah, it was a great deal, I believe. But it was sad to see the community getting screwed over, which made me come back and contact Kris and start developing UPXLand together with him and borrow money.
Absolutely. And so, Kris, when that conversation happens and you're registering sort of UPXLand last year, right? Why did you start UPXLand? I mean, okay, you're in Upland, you're playing, you perhaps think that it would be great to have something of your own, but why UPXLand?
Yeah, so basically there was no up-to-date data source anymore since the old platform wasn't developed any further. And then I interacted a bit with the blockchain, searched on the web, and then I thought, why not start my own project and bring the tool back to the community? And that's the whole reason I started the project.
Absolutely. And so when you're looking at UPXLand, and right now it's free to use, I'll throw this question to all of you. Do you ever see UPXLand being a subscription only sort of tool that people can only use once they buy a subscription?
I think we want to keep the main data free and offer premium features in the very near future.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hacker.
So I think we have announced pretty much that we're going to do a huge release in November, and we want to make it very clear here as well that the main data functions and stuff like that will be free, but we have a lot of new features that you guys will truly love, and a lot of data stuff and things like that, so that we have been working on for, I believe, 4 months now. and everything will be so much faster. And yeah, we really hope that you guys will be as amazed as we have been working on it very hardly.
If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you think what's being discussed is nice and you'd like to join the discussion, please comment below. And if you'd like to stay updated, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you. Since you are talking to a metaverse press company, I must ask, are you wanting to give us a news break, a headline for any of that?
Well, you guys have only had one collection optimizer, and we have one soon as well, which is faster and more accurate, according to some people.
Okay, great. I think that would do, and I think we can definitely spread that. But so as I'm looking at UPXLand, right? How do you see UPXLand services also capitalizing on the whole Web3 and metaverse? If you are, do you see it using not only the technology of 3D, but other technologies that come with non-fungible tokens and stuff like that? I know you're building, say, a layer 2 protocol, which is UPXLand, but do you internally see the NFT technology aiding in your services?
So
yeah, I can go for it.
Yeah. So I think currently we are a layer 2 project, and I don't think we will be looking at doing any integration towards the blockchain. There's nothing in our schedule for that yet. But I think Upland is doing most of the heavy work, like building all the integration to the blockchain, building some assets and stuff like that. And we will be able to utilize those APIs and transactions to actually do stuff on the blockchain via Upland. And I think that lifts like a very heavy development process to Upland instead of us having to build the whole process and integration to the blockchain. So I think we don't have any plans currently towards building anything into the blockchain ourselves.
Kris, you wanted to add something to that?
No, not really. We're mainly the data source up on the blockchain, and yeah, we're not writing anything to the blockchain, but reading the blockchain, obviously.
Absolutely. So as a user of UPXLand, let me ask you this question. A lot of times, Upland capitalizes on push notifications a lot, right? So maybe you're not using Upland, but some event is happening and they send you a push notification. Do you guys, and Soren, please feel free to sort of add to this. Do you guys see a mobile application for UPXLand which can send push notifications to people's mobile phones coming in play? And I'll give you a few use cases of this, right? We all know what Marla is. Marla tells you when a land is listed below or above the mint prices. It would be useful to have a push notification every time some land gets listed below mint price. Or if you're treasure hunting, there is a special tool in UPXLand which gives you the notification when the recharge is done, right, of the competitive tier treasure hunting. So do you see a mobile application with push notifications being something that you are developing UPXLand towards?
It's good that you asked me, because I'm not a dev, but I think as a user it would be very helpful. And also, if you're not in the game currently, so push notification would be helpful, that oh, okay, I have to go into and to play if you're able to do from a time perspective. I think it would be very helpful. But if we are able to develop, hey, Hacker and Kris, it's your question.
Yeah, so we have some features planned that require push notifications, or would be very helpful for the features. So yeah, we're planning on it.
Absolutely. Does that happen next year?
might happen this year
Okay. That
or
that
next
is
year.
again a news break. Probably. I don't know. But
Yeah, you know, Tam, the problem is always they are still working or studying.
absolutely.
So everything we do for UPXLand, it's just just besides the main job, and yeah, there are lots of ideas. If you would know our ideas, so we just need people to do this, to do the work, and that's always the same problem. So we're good
Absolutely.
devs,
I
but
think
only 24 hours available. So it's
that's with every entrepreneur's mind, right? Because you have 10 ideas working at the same time. And I have that same thing. So I think all of us as entrepreneurs and founders have that 10 ideas and we want to execute all 10, but we can only do one right now, right? So that is definitely something that all of us have to grapple with. So yeah. But so let me ask you, how do you see Upland developing in the next 5 years? 5 years down the line, how do you see Upland? And I'd love to hear all of your perspectives.
You can start with an answer. So I would love to have Upland just as the platform, as a base for third parties, so that every one of us are able to create great stuff, and so they are just the connection to the blockchain, and to have the graphics, and to and something to build on. And in 5 years, maybe they got millions of customers and players in the game, and you got places all over the world where you can send your block explorer to, and a lot of companies are using the game and so on. That's something I would I can imagine. If you ask me, so what does it be besides a game? I don't know. So it's just something maybe I cannot imagine. So what's the main thing? What's the metaverse thing? So it's only, it's not centralized, it's decentralized, or is it more? Can you do surgeries? Yeah, you talked about this before. So it's I don't know. I just I'm free to see what happens.
Absolutely, Kris.
I think they're taking a step in the direction of becoming kind of a social platform as well, apart from the game, by integrating maybe the community directly into the game and not handle everything over Discord. I read some idea about maybe cafes in the game, so you can talk in specific places to other community members. And with the metaverses, you can introduce some other businesses, maybe also in the future outside businesses like other platforms, layer 2 platforms. I think that's something they're developing, and I can see it in 5 years definitely working that way.
Absolutely. Hacker?
I mean, I agree with all of you, and I believe a big part is to bring the community to the platform, like Kris said. I think that will really happen, and I hope it happens. And if you speak about 5 years, I mean, I would like them to build some kind of VR platform for it as well. So I will be able to, let's say if I'm in the United States, or if they open up the Stockholm as a city, that I'll be able to use the application to actually hold my cell phone towards stuff and see the buildings and things like that. Or just wander around in Upland just like Pokemon Go or something like that. But another thing would be nice would be like having VR, just that, integrating it to VR so you can move around in VR with the map and see buildings in VR in 3D format and stuff like that. It would just be amazing. Yeah, so I also hope for, like Soren says, I hope that they will be just a platform as well. Like if they build VR and AR and stuff like that to the game, it will be extremely nice and probably bring more people into the game. But them actually being the platform which handles all the economics, the transactions and stuff like that, and people build stuff around it. That will also be my guess that they are focusing on for the next 5 years.
Okay. Here's a personal question that I would like everyone's opinion on. So we talked about the next 5 years of Upland. Let me ask you the next 5 to 10 years of UPXLand. How do you see UPXLand developing in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, maybe so. We never discussed the next 5 years, but I think we will also move on and maybe not only working with Upland, with other metaverses, or I don't know, it could be something, or yeah, being more, it's more to the players. So yeah, also kind of third-party platform, or just running games via UPXLand, or so there's a lot of tools we can provide, and we, as a lot of people using UPXLand, so we are able to add other services to UPXLand that they can interact with Upland. This could be, I don't know, but it's some kind of forecast. Maybe it will be someday.
Absolutely.
And I mean, the first step would be to actually do a net profit before we start talking about doing more stuff. But yeah, I agree. We have talked about small stuff, maybe looking into adding more metaverses into the UPXLand family. Yeah, I guess it depends on how fast they push features and stuff like that, because we have to keep up and integrate stuff into UPXLand. But hopefully if we do profits, we can probably hire more people to work with us that actually works with specific platforms with the family of UPXLand. That would be great.
Absolutely. Kris, over to you.
Yeah, I think it depends on how Upland develops over the next years, but it's pretty early to talk about the next 5 years of UPXLand when we're only in business for about a year. So we never really planned that far ahead.
Well, I hope you are going to be around in the next 5 years. Let's fingers crossed to that.
We hope that too.
Absolutely. So here's a divisive question, and I know a lot of people will have their own opinion on this. But what European city should be next?
Sweden.
City.
Stockholm.
Sorry?
So European city, yeah, I would imagine will be London, but hopefully it will be Frankfurt.
Chris?
Why Frankfurt? Because
Frankfurt.
It's a huge head.
Sorry?
Yeah, Frankfurt.
Okay, great. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you think what's being discussed is nice and you'd like to join the discussion, please comment below. And if you'd like to stay updated, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you. When you're looking at Upland right now, right? And Soren, I think you would agree to this. Anu Hariharan of Y Combinator says this, and she's worked with Andreessen Horowitz before, right? She says that network effects is something that is extremely critical to any startup, right? If you're looking at Upland right now, yes, they have not probably created the very polished 3D as Decentraland may have, but what Upland has is network effects, which is the harder part, right? Because 3D is something which is a problem that's solvable. You throw $1 million at 3D, hire 10,000 engineers in India, you can do that over in less than 1 year, right? You can make the entire platform into 3D. But network effects is something you cannot do. And Upland has not only executed on it, but I think they've nailed it. They've made a great impact. You look at today, Upland has around 35,000 to 50,000 monthly active users. I don't think any of the other mainstream metaverses have that. Sandbox doesn't have that. Decentraland doesn't have that. Gala Games doesn't have that. Axie Infinity doesn't have that. So that is something that Upland definitely has going for them. From your perspective, when you're looking at that, how do you think that advantage is something that Upland can capitalize on? And people building metaverse or Web3 startups can sort of piggyback off that network effects within Upland to grow their own startups within Upland, such as UPXLand or the Metaverse Street Journal have. So over to you, Soren, and then Kris, and then Hacker.
Yeah, I think how to capitalize the network effect. I think I think you're right. I think the most important thing is to get these great community. So we are talking because there's a huge and very active community, and I think because I think they should move on as a platform for third-party services, and these are you ask for startups and entrepreneurs. So if you're able to be a platform for growing companies, then your network is growing as well. And if you get out a little bit of money every time a small startup becoming bigger and getting more users attracted to the services, they get money out of it. And I think that's how they capitalize the network.
Absolutely. Kris?
Yeah, definitely. I think with all the new startups and projects that come out of Upland, more and more people get attracted to it, and not only through the Upland ads directly, but also through the new startups and the new communities. Maybe they invite friends to hang out with them in their Discord or in their communities, and that's how they learn about Upland and maybe start playing too.
Hacker, over to you.
Yeah, I think how they can capitalize on network effect. I think trying to give people more resources to build stuff themselves as well. Like if you take us, for example, if we get more tools so we can integrate more stuff and build it wider and stop making profits, I think the most important for a platform like this is to actually make the entrepreneurs playing the game make money, because that will also attract new people. So that's with any platform. When the platform is making money and makes other people make money as well, that's when things start to grow. Like if everybody was losing money playing the game, it's not that fun in the long run if you don't have all the features. So they should really try to brand, like try to push out stuff now during the network effect, and try to get those people hooked and try to make them push stuff as well.
Okay, so piggybacking off that point, Hacker, and guys, everyone, please answer this. Do you think Upland is doing a great job educating people on how not only to play Upland, but to think of metaverse long term and how to develop things? So, for instance, do you think, as you were saying, the problem comes that we're not educating new players how to do that the right way? And do you think that we can do a better job doing that?
Let me ask. Hacker, just go on.
Yeah. So I guess, I don't think they're educated enough. And those that are educated and know about this platform know how to integrate. We even have a hard time like trying to get answers and get help to integrate stuff. So I guess they are still lacking in the support part when it comes to the development. And I hopefully think that when they are starting to get stuff in place, they can start focusing on actually helping other developers. That's just something I hope on, because currently the community doesn't get a lot of answers when we ask questions regarding development. But I hope that gets better when they have more stuff in place that actually works and test it out.
Yep. Soren, you wanted to comment.
Yeah, I just want to, you asked for how do they the job to educate new players. And I think this also could be a job of a third party. So to tell people what kind of strategy can you use to be successful in the game. So it's also kind of business education. Yeah, a lot of people just run firms who educate others. So, and this also could be a job for them. And I think one problem of the Upland owners or creators is, they play the game since 4 years, and they may be ahead 1 year in their mind. And for them, it's easy, like for us. So we know the game very well. So, and someone who's coming and is new to the game, so they see things we just use every day very critical, or they don't know how to use the sense or whatever. So for us, so we use it all day. So it's not a problem, it's not a question. So, and then we didn't see the question anymore. So maybe this is a problem for Upland themselves. So that's why sometimes people think they are not doing a good job in educating others. And maybe a third party could take it over, or the community, like now.
Okay, Kris.
Yeah, currently the community is taking over the educating part, and maybe they should promote more educators in the start of the game. When you join the game, maybe promote some channels to reach out to people, how to play the game, how to get more knowledge about it, and yeah, how to play it. That way they can attract way more people to stay in the game and not jump aboard directly after they joined.
Okay, great. So let me sort of draw conclusions from all the points, right? And I sort of wanted to draw parallels because I'm sure you know about the Clubhouse app, right? I was one of the early members in India for Clubhouse when it was invite only, and I sort of saw it grow. So here's a two-part question. When you say, and Soren, I agree with you that the more senior members should sort of teach newcomers. So in Upland, in Clubhouse, sorry, what they did is there were rooms that would be about new user onboarding. Do you think that is a good idea? And the second part to that is the way Clubhouse sort of grew over time is that the founders would do one weekly town hall every Saturday. Now I think they've changed it to Tuesday, but every Sunday, if I'm not wrong, they would do the town hall. Do you think a weekly town hall where the big questions are addressed instead of one AMA every 3 months? Should we do it more regularly where we have maybe not Idan or Dirk, but maybe X1 answering questions, or General Mort answering questions, or Lizette answering questions, but something that happens more regularly where people can tune in and perhaps even submit questions beforehand, the way we did in Clubhouse, and they could answer those questions, right? The team could go through the questions and give those answers that are sort of the communities facing. So do you think that is a good idea? So with that,
I think,
yeah, Soren, over to you.
Yeah, I think it's just different, right? The AMA, it's to talk with the founders, and yeah, I'm pretty sure they are able to do it more than once in a few months. So, but they get their community managers, and I think that's their task to answer questions. Yeah, if someone has a question, it don't has to be a video. They can answer question on Discord, on Twitter, whatever they want. So that's just the community management. Raise question to be answered, and the AMA, it's quite okay. I think it's in my opinion, because if you grow, you don't have to attend that. It's just the AMA is just a forecast on a very high level to see, okay, what's the real big news, and the community managers are for the everyday questions. So I would, yeah, it's some I would say this in this way. So, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Kris?
Yeah, I agree with Soren. I think the AMA isn't necessary to do every week, but it's a good thing to maybe when the community managers join into the Discord voice channel, like they did in the past, sometimes answer some simple questions and just hang out a bit with the community.
Over to you, Hacker.
Yeah, I don't really have to add anything. I think you guys said exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, I agree. And I think instead of doing a weekly time like AMA or town hall, I think it would be good if they just had somewhere where everyone could find resources and connections that stays updated as well, because most of the things that they have is not updated, and it's the community that kind of carries everything. So I think a great thing would be just like a specific place where people could go or just reference to and say, hey, check this out, and you will be able to understand more. And these are the questions that may come up and stuff like that. A better FAQ. Yeah.
Absolutely. So in the last AMA, Idan confirmed that the in-game communication is going to be done via third party. Drawing up to that, is UPXLand talking to Upland in order to create that in-game communication as a third party?
We are talking to Upland, but not because of the in-game communications.
Okay, great. All right, guys. So this is the rapid fire questions segment. And let's go in the Soren first, Kris second, and Hacker third, right? Why Upland?
It's great. It's fun.
The community.
Open source.
Okay. What's the best city to treasure hunt?
I never did that.
Manhattan.
Manhattan.
Okay. One feature suggestion for Upland.
The communication.
Yeah, in-game communication.
Adds to UPXLand.
Sorry?
Adds towards UPXLand.
Yep. We have a question on that as well coming soon. One underrated player that helps everyone in the community who you want to give a shout out to.
Oh no, I know a lot of players, but I can't remember the names. So there are a lot of players on Twitter who supporting others. So just have a look at it. I can't remember the names. Sometimes I have to look up. So sorry, I wouldn't do this.
It's all right, Kris.
The whole German channel.
Okay. Hacker.
And I would say God Sasu. I always see him help players out in the community all the time.
Absolutely. When do you realistically expect 3D in Upland? Even if it's in only one neighborhood or one specific area, when do you think we can realistically expect 3D?
I don't know if it's planned, but maybe from third parties next year.
Yeah, in the next 3 years.
Okay.
Hopefully next year as well. And we have a third party.
Okay. So Hacker, to your question, do you think we should have digital billboards on properties as a property structure?
Yes, I think we should. And I think just people have to be able to get information that we exist. I mean, I see players all the time being like, oh, what's UPXLand? Well, you have to know that to play the game correctly. I mean, there's no possible way to get information otherwise except UPXLand about the statistics and stuff like that.
Same question
yes,
to you.
To your question.
Yeah, same question to you, Kris.
Great idea to have billboards.
Soren.
Yeah, I love that. I think we need more brands inside the game.
Absolutely. One international city or country that you would want to see in Upland? Global.
Let me start. Seoul. Korea.
Frankfurt.
Sweden, Stockholm, or Tokyo.
Okay. One celebrity you would like to see in Upland?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, I agree with Kris. Elon Musk would be sick to the moon.
Okay. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you think what's being discussed is nice and you'd like to join the discussion, please comment below. And if you'd like to stay updated, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you. And I know Soren really wants commercialization. Me too.
Yeah.
One brand you would like to see in Upland?
Adidas. Because they just quit their partnership, so they have to move on.
Kris?
Meta.
Okay.
Citigroup, maybe.
Citigroup. Okay. Interesting. So Upland and Gala Games recently partnered together. What's your opinion on that?
I think it's just we just getting closer together. So players from Gala Games and players from Upland just had a look on the other side and then checked out, and maybe they can doing the open metaverse thing together.
Yeah, great step in the right direction to connect NFTs to multiple games and transfer them maybe later on.
Hacker?
Yeah, and I would say the same thing. It's good for the Open Metaverse Alliance to start integrate towards each other. Yeah,
absolutely. Recently, there has been ideas floated that we should have an OPEC Plus in Upland that sort of creates an alliance of big players and set up like cent fees or neighborhood land floor prices. Do you think that's a good idea?
No, I don't think it would work.
I think the community as a whole should have a say in it, and not only a few players.
And I would say that, yeah, it won't probably work because it's online.
Great. UAE now has a metaverse ministry. Not only are the people going to be ministers for the metaverse, they are going to be working in the metaverse. Should Upland try to push them to launch UAE and then allow them to have the UAE ministry within Upland?
I don't think so, because I think that's one thing for the metaverse. It's a world for the players, for the people who are using them, and we don't need a government from outside. And even it's just the ministry, and I don't know what they want, but yeah, maybe it's kind of it's from a commercial perspective would be good to see the first one where they come in, but I don't think we need that.
Kris?
Yeah, I don't think we need that really. The community should decide and interact, and yeah, maybe the community should build some sort of council, but not an outside organization.
Haka?
I agree. I don't think they should interact with Upland. I guess that could be a possibility now since Qatar is going to open up.
Yeah, so that actually brings me to my next question about Qatar. So Qatar is next. What's your opinion? I'd love to hear all three of your opinions, because across the board, there's positive and negative. There are divisive. Qatar is a divisive sort of topic within the Upland community. Some people love it. Some people are like, oh, why are they the next? So what's your opinions on that?
Yeah, it's complicated because yeah, it's controversial. I think it's very good because there's a huge event starting in Qatar next month, and for this, it's really good to have them in the game. I know it's not the most democratic country in the world, but maybe that's the thing for metaverses. So we don't care about countries. Yeah, so we are working close with someone from Sweden, and we talk to someone from India, and so it doesn't matter. So it's you know, just I met so many people from all over the world during the last 3 years. So it doesn't matter what's the government of a country is doing. So we are just people playing a game, using a platform, and so it's for us. It has to be important. So what the real country are doing, where people come from. So it's not about the country; it's about the people there, and we just use the infrastructure of Upland to see properties, use legals, and so on.
I think it's good for the event. I understand why they bring Qatar into the game, but I don't want to discuss any political things
Absolutely.
here.
Absolutely.
And I say exactly the same thing. I think it's good that they open up a second city in a country where there's a lot of money and a lot of money spent on microtransactions as well. But yeah, no political things for me as
Absolutely. Well. So let me ask you this question, and each individual may have their own sort of opinions. When you look in metaverse as a whole, do you think the future is open or closed metaverses?
I think it will be an open metaverse because you have to bring some kind of all people together, and there won't be one metaverse who's able to do this. And I think they somehow have to be interoperability or yeah, some kind of stuff.
Definitely open metaverse, because not everything that players want can be provided by one company. So you need many companies and many projects to deliver a good metaverse.
Yeah, so I think I agree, and I think it will be open. It has to be open, but I think there will be some kind of non-profit organization that will be the platform that ties everything together, like the internet. We have some standards. We have a company or a non-profit organization that push out standards, but everybody decides if they want to connect or not connect to the internet. And I guess that has to be the same with the metaverse as well. That you have an organization like the Open Metaverse Alliance that actually sets the standards for the communication between the different metaverses. But yeah, I think it will be open to a certain degree, that the platforms decide if they want to connect or not. But there will be a platform which allows you to connect to each other.
Okay, let me ask you a second part of the same question then. Centralized or decentralized metaverse? Because Upland is a centralized metaverse, right? So
I think the future will be the decentralized platforms, and one day maybe Upland will be governed by the people and become a decentralized.
I think part of both worlds, because a fully decentralized big application isn't really going to work, because you always need providers to provide the interface to interact with the blockchain, to write the transaction, to transform it into the blockchain. So in my vision, best of both worlds will connect.
sure. Hacker?
Yeah, I agree. Combination of both, I believe, because you won't be able to run this infrastructure and make transaction this fast with the technology we have if it isn't centralized somehow. So either you will try to get your send and it takes you 5 minutes to the transaction to go through on the blockchain. I mean, that doesn't work. So like combination.
Absolutely. So within Upland specific, do you think there is Spark inflation, and is Spark inflation real?
I don't have that much Spark, so and also I'm not sure what's the end of the Spark thing. So how many Spark do you need to create cars someday, and so on. So yeah, right now I don't have the right feeling to answer this question.
Yeah, with the increasing applications of Spark, I don't think it's a Spark inflation, because you always need more Spark to build bigger things. And they planned for a lot of things to come to use the Spark for, so you really need it in the future.
Hacker?
Yeah, I agree with both, or with Kris. I mean, in the future, you will be able to build stuff, and if you don't have a lot, you will pay for it. And I guess some people will sit on low Sparks and they will loan it out. I mean, it will be interesting. Maybe that's something we should build at UPXLand, an inflation calculator, which shows the current inflation of both UPX and Spark.
Absolutely. I think you should.
Yeah.
Which now brings me to my next question. And you've been here for good many years, so I'm sure you know what life token is, because Dirk has talked about that, right? Life token is Spark is for inanimate objects like buildings, structures, etc. Life token is for everything that is living. So, for instance, a pet llama. If you want to create a pet llama from a baby to an adult pet llama, you'd need to perhaps stake the life token, which hasn't launched yet, but it's in the pipeline. So when you look at life token, should that be launched soon?
I don't care if it's coming soon or next year. It's just another thing to work on in the game. So it's quite okay to have that now, or even if we will have that a little bit later, as long as it's stable and it's working, so it's fine.
Kris?
I think there's currently not the big need to create something living in Upland. I think with the Spark, the cars, the properties, and the NFTs, there's quite a lot to do, and they have better features to develop, I think.
Hacker?
Well, I guess it doesn't matter for me either. If they introduce something like Upland Tamagotchi, but with the llama, okay, yeah. So like you try to make it live and it can die, and you have to revive it and stuff like that. So if they build something like that, so it actually has a purpose in the game now, and not just release a token.
So I'm not sure if you guys ever played Club Penguin in Miniclip, but there was this game called Club Penguin back in Miniclip that was there, which was sort of like a life token in a metaverse, but like with the Web2 technologies. So you had, for instance, if you had a dog, you had to go and actually walk the dog every day. And if you don't, the dog passes away after a while. If you don't feed the dog passes away. So you actually have to go and take the dog on a walk every day.
It sounds like that's similar to Tamagotchi. Yeah, you have to take care of a baby pet or something, and if you didn't feed them, so it's yeah.
I
but
think
you had that in 3D, so in your hand, right?
I think in a way, and feel free to push back, I think that would increase the daily active users in Upland, and especially if you have some utility in with the baby llama or a baby puppy or a baby cat or whatever, and if you can sort of do that in a way increases daily active users that come to Upland, and not only for the daily Spark login, but yes, treasure hunting is something that players do, but beyond that and buying sort of assets, there isn't much you can do right now, right? So if live token does launch, that sort of increases the reason why people log in and stay logged in within Upland as well. So
yeah, but
Yeah,
I think maybe it's another target group to feed the dog every day,
Yeah.
right? It's just for kids and not for young adults or even grown adults like me. No, I think it's another target group. I think, yeah, maybe it's something also third parties can work on or work with, and maybe, yeah, it's just, yeah, for another ideas, it's a good thing. But maybe there's one third party who creates the dog and baby feed thing, but you don't have to take this. Yeah. It's maybe everyone finds part of the game what's interesting for them.
absolutely.
But you're right. It's right now. It's not the perfect gamification right now. So Upland and also we as third party, we have to find something what you can do every day in the game.
Yep, absolutely. Because I think as even the people who are, fair enough, people who are not owners of Upland, but people who are at least involved in some way, we want Upland to have some utility, like except just logging in or doing treasure hunting. What else do you do in Upland, right? And that is I think once that is solved, I think you're going to see that J curve growth in Upland that sort of Facebook saw once they implemented the translations. So
maybe one day the United Nations will something for Upland. So
absolutely,
they just kind of support the world, bring them together, and just use this as a tool, right?
okay. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you think what's being discussed is nice and you'd like to join the discussion, please comment below. And if you'd like to stay updated, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you. Since you did mention that, and I had a question lined up for you for later on, but let me just ask that to you right now. Do you see GDPR as an opportunity or a threat to Metaverse and Web3 as a whole, and obviously to Upland? Because you have people from all across the world. Presumably, there is data being collected, data being transferred from different countries to different places, and we're not exactly sure where it's being hosted or what's being done with it, right? So, do you think GDPR is something that is that could impact the metaverse as a whole? Because presumably GDPR hasn't caught up with Web3 yet, and GDPR was written for a Web2, not for a Web3.
Yeah, I think you have to take care of. But if my private data, as long as you can connect it to my person, it's very critical, of course, because you can you can harm me if you want. So people, should be careful with it, of course. But on the other hand, it's something you can work with your data. It's very important right now. So, but I think the metaverse right now, it's not connected to my real life. It's just, okay, we are talking right now, but the in-game person or the money, it's different. You cannot compare them. It's totally a wrong person, I would say.
Okay, Kris or Hacker, do you have something to add to that?
Yeah, there are great ideas to connect like an identity provider compared with the blockchain. So you only have to give your identities to one group or one company, and all the other companies can verify your identity on the blockchain. So there's no need to share your personal information with everybody. That way you can still have your privacy, and only the government need to control one company.
Absolutely. Hacker?
Yeah, I agree with Kris. I think that like identity provider has to be a non-profit organization that somehow builds a platform where identification can be held, and not being mined to profit on stuff. So I think that has to be a non-profit as well, together with the OMA.
Great. Also, another divisive point that a lot of people argue about, but the older players generally don't, but the newer players always argue about this. And I'd love to hear your opinions. Is it a smart move that UPX is not a listed coin?
Yes.
Sorry. I think some advantages, yeah, because the crypto winter doesn't, they don't have to take care of it, so it's quite okay for them. But on the other hand, a lot of websites who compare the metaverses and show them to the world, so they don't show the Upland metaverse, and this is something they are sometimes not recognized in this areas, and there are a lot of people though never heard of Upland because of that. Maybe that's not that great for them, but and also for us, yeah, in this case. But I think it's better not to be listed with a coin.
Kris?
Yeah, I think it's good too, because also it takes away the complicated part about taxes in some countries, capital gains, and yeah, you have a stable currency.
Absolutely. So we all know about Ready Player One, and let me ask you this question. When Parzival, the main player in Ready Player One, goes to that library, and there's that librarian who's a co-founder of James Halliday in Ready Player One. And he's essentially the record keeper of the metaverses. And here's a hypothetical question. Do you see UPXLand developing into that record keeper of the metaverses?
I haven't even thought about that, but yes, I guess we would kind of be that source, since we have like everything. But I mean, if you really would say that, I guess the record keeper would be the EOS blockchain. EOS.
Something like a librarian who keeps record of historical events, an archive, something who created the first. So, for instance, Droop was one of the person I interviewed. So, he and a group of people created the first ornament back last year for buildings, right? So that would be a record keeper, right? Last year in December, Abdullah bid for one of the properties that raised funding for the children's hospital, which was a charity event in the auction house. That would be a great moment within Upland Metaverse. So something like a librarian / an archive keeper, record keeper, something like that, with data, of course, because data is something that you are doing already, but something like a record keeper per se.
Yeah, I guess that's actually a good feature that we can look into. It would actually be nice if you were able to go to a certain player's profile on UPXLand and see historical events by that person, like Abdullah or Drew, or like the first player or the first person that bought a property in which city and stuff like that. I guess that would probably be good and nice to
have. Kris?
Yeah, I think we kind of have the data already, but we just haven't developed a feature where you can see historical events like really big sales or sold out cities, something like that are also historical events. But yeah, we have the data stored and maybe could provide them, so sort of on a timeline maybe.
Absolutely. Soren, do you have any thoughts on this?
Maybe one day we are able to do this. Yeah.
Absolutely. And with that, I mean, we can go on for hours and hours, because these three gentlemen are founders. They're part of my clan, which is the entrepreneurial mindset where we can just bounce off ideas for hours and hours, but we all have commitments. And so with that, this concludes the interview with UPXLand founders. Hopefully we'll bring them back in November. They're launching an upgraded version of UPXLand, and we'd love to have them back here and talk to them on what they are launching. But with that, I would conclude this interview, and it was great talking to you, gentlemen. Soren, Kris, Hacker,
Yeah.
it's been a pleasure having you in the 6th episode of Reading Between the Lines with Tan the Man. And before we end this, I would just end it with our quote that I always say: you be the arbiter of truth, the viewers of the Metaverse Street Journal. Thank you, UPXLand team. It was a pleasure having you here.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Thanks
Chetan.
a lot. Yeah. Thanks a
Absolutely.
lot.
If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you think what's being discussed is nice and you'd like to join the discussion, please comment below. And if you'd like to stay updated, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you.